Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, coming to you in February. Wow, we're into Super Bowl week today, and this whole week is just going to be consumed with NFL talk and everybody getting ready for the big game. Oh man, that's going to be awesome. But we've had a really great weekend behind us. Um, it was one of those weekends where I was thinking, it probably is a good week to actually fly south somewhere. And that's what my dad did. He flew down to Mexico. Perfect timing, I think, on his part. I really thought I should be around to watch the NHL All-Star game, the Pro Bowl, things like that. Nah, not really, really still didn't jazz me, no matter how much they changed the rules and did some extra things to make it interesting. No, that really wasn't too great. The UFC wasn't great. What else? It was a nothing weekend in the world of sports in a lot of ways. There'll be a lot to talk about today, but yeah, next year I'm flying south between the divisional championship games and the Super Bowl. I think it's a perfect time to get away and go away for a week or 10 days, something like that.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It is. It's
Yeah.
a very good time to get away. Like I think even like flights to go out would be a lot cheaper too and stuff like that. Like a lot more affordable. Like it's just because the weekend leading up to the Super Bowl is always just kind of like a meh. It's a
Yeah.
meh weekend. Like
Yeah.
it's like stuff's happening. It's not really that important. There's basketball on for me, so that's
Yeah.
cool. But
Yeah.
other than that, it's like stuff cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Really didn't deliver much sports entertainment. It'll be still fun to break down some of the things that went on, but yeah, I'm circling the calendar and I'm finding some flights for next year. I'll be away so we can have a week off between the divisional games or the championship games and the Super Bowl, and I'll come back refreshed and having a lot of fun. Maybe we'll be at the Super Bowl next year. That's what we'll gun for, and so we'll be away that entire week. I'll do some reports from the Super Bowl. Maybe we'll do the podcast from I don't know where it is next year. I actually haven't looked ahead, but somewhere fun, I'm sure.
I think it might be New Orleans. I
Okay.
think so. Okay, but here's something about the Super Bowl that I didn't know. I read an article where I'm like, oh my dear God, that is expensive. Now we all know that Super Bowl tickets are super expensive. We
Yeah.
know that. I believe last year the average ticket price for a Super Bowl ticket was $5,700.
Wow.
Can you guess how much the average ticket price for a Super Bowl in Vegas, mind you, is for this year, for this weekend?
Have to say 10K?
Almost super close. It was 9,600 and something change.
Wow. Geez.
Yeah.
Unreal.
And then if you wanted a luxury suite, it went from because it was Christian McCaffrey's mom was complaining that, yeah, even we can't afford that. Like even Mr. Moneybags, Christian McCaffrey can't afford that.
Wow.
So for a luxury suite in Vegas for the Super Bowl, it ranges from 1.4 million to 2.5 million dollars for a night.
Jeez, that's
Night.
crazy. That's insane. Like, why would anybody spend that kind of money? That's
They that
insane.
that just so you're gonna buy a house for a night? Awesome. Just
Wow.
awesome.
Brutal. That's crazy. That's totally crazy. That's funny because I was looking up some stuff on Taylor Swift. I watched the Grammys last night, which were really, really great. Taylor
Yeah.
Swift won Album of the Year for the fourth time in her career. No other artist has ever done that in the Grammys' 66-year history. And she's I think she was Time Person of the Year. She was on the front page or front cover of Time magazine. She's, just in the media like crazy these days. And all of a sudden I saw something that just blew my mind. These are the figures on what she makes on a daily basis. Did you see this at all?
No, no,
No.
no. But please
Okay.
tell me. I want to see how rich she is.
So she makes $4.75 every second. That works out to $285 a minute. $17,000 an hour. That works out to be 411,000 per day, 12.5 million a month, and about $150 million per year. So her money is just incredibly flowing in. It is just shocking when you break it down to the second and minute, hour. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so she could probably be that one that affords that suite at Vegas there.
So let me get this straight. If Travis Kelsey plays his cards right, he can retire from the NFL and be like, I'm a kept man now. I don't do anything.
Yeah.
I do nothing.
Yeah,
Like,
well, for sure. If he, there's actually been some bets laid that he might propose to her at the Super Bowl, and you can actually place a bet in Vegas that he will or he won't. And yeah, if I bet you if you were in his shoes, you'd be throwing that ring down right now.
I would have threw it down as soon as we dated the first time. I would have had that ring ready. I'm like, baby, you're the one. I knew it from the first time I saw you. Saw your bank account. No, saw you. Sorry, saw you.
Yeah, it's crazy. I looked up his salary, which is going to be about 12.25 million this year. He has endorsement deals, and I don't know if he's making money off his podcast yet. He probably is with his
I think
brother,
he is.
but yeah, I'm sure he is. He's probably pulling in 15 million a year or something like that. One concert that Taylor performs takes in about 13 million just one night. So she's on this massive tour and bringing in that kind of dough on a daily basis. She makes more money. She's made more money on this tour than he's made in his entire career, and she's making in one night what he makes in a year. So it's pretty insane. The difference in money, but he's very, very well off guy, but not compared to his woman.
I wonder if he's the one that's going to move into her house. You got the bigger pad, babe. So I'm going to make the sacrifice. I'll move in with you.
Maybe, yeah. That'll be interesting to see that kind of stuff when it comes out, if it comes out. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, you go places that I don't go in your mind.
Yeah, man. It's like, oh, I could just imagine that. Like, it's just like, wow, I don't have to do anything anymore. Like, I don't. She won't let me pay for anything. I tried, not really that hard, and then like, or because Taylor Swift is such a big name, I'm sure she's gotten to the point where she doesn't actually have to pay for stuff.
No.
She'll go in shopping and be like, you know what? It's on us.
Yeah.
Just
That's
just
true. Isn't it crazy? Yeah, the richer
stuff.
you are, less often you have to pay for things. They just want to be, you to be seen wearing it or
Yeah,
showing it off
absolutely.
or driving in it or whatever it is. I'm sure she gets free stuff every day.
Yeah. That now it's like, I'll take if Travis is smart, but I'll take all the stuff you don't want. How about that?
Yeah.
I'll just take it, and it's now mine since we're a couple now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be cool to see how that all plays out. Good luck. He'll be able to be a very kept man, very happy, lots
Yeah.
of money and lots of ability to do anything he wants. If that continues, and yeah, Taylor's biggest star in the world right now, in my opinion. So yeah, it's easy life if this all goes according to plan, how Jason's planned it out.
Oh yeah, man. Like, how about this? She's so big a star that I believe she has a concert in Japan, and the Japanese embassy has stepped in to say, "Don't you worry, Swifties. She's going to make the Super Bowl on time. We're actually going to make sure of it." It's like, wait, the
Amazing.
Japanese officials, like the government officials, be like, "Oh no, we've got it all set up. She's going to get on a private plane that we're going to set up.
Amazing.
She's going to be rushed through security." Like, it's like, wow, a country's taking care of her. I think she's good.
Wow.
I think she's
Yeah.
good.
Crazy. You don't hear that kind of stuff very often. That's amazing. That's incredible. Um, There was some a little bit of sad news on the weekend. I want to dedicate this podcast to the memory of Carl Weathers. Great man, an amazing athlete, incredible actor, very iconic roles, and he packed an incredible life into 76 years. Sad to see him go, but nice to hear all the amazing tributes to him, and getting a chance to see some of the movies maybe I haven't seen in a few years. Tried to watch some of the movies over the weekend, and just remember the guy he was. He was a great athlete and even better actor. Really was able to reach some incredible heights in his acting career.
Didn't know this about his football playing career, but he played in the CFL for a couple of years.
Yeah,
I believe for the Lions as well. Like I didn't know that.
yeah,
And so that was cool to learn about him. But it was better to see. I saw an Instagram post of Sylvester Stallone talking about his friend that passed away, Carl Weathers, and saying there's no Rocky without Apollo Creed. And
yeah,
I thought that was just awesome for him to come out and say that,
yeah,
and say that how integral of a part he was in making Sylvester Stallone Sylvester Stallone. I
yeah.
thought that was awesome on his part.
Very awesome. Yeah, I loved seeing that. And yeah, he's right. We don't. I'm sure we don't think of Rocky as iconic without Apollo Creed and that battle that they had going on. I loved him in Happy Gilmore. I loved him in Predator. Saw him even in a commercial recently with Gronk. Did you see that commercial?
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah,
was awesome.
that's been playing recently because it's promoting the field goal kick that Gronk's going to
Yeah,
try to make again this year, and so they must have filmed that very recently. So yeah, he was acting right up until the last few days of his life.
yeah, the kick of destiny. But it's sad to see him go. But I appreciated the way he went. I guess you could say, which was just in his sleep,
Right.
at ease and at comfort. And so, if that's the way you go, well then I don't think there's a better way to go, man. Just
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true. Yeah. That kind of transitions us into Black History Month, which is February every year. You and I had a little bit of a wonder last year about why it turns out to be the shortest day of the month. Nobody ever really told me that why, but great that we're honoring it. We have it here in Canada as well as the US, and I assume in other countries as well, but great that we're recognizing it. The theme this year here in Canada is Black Excellence, a heritage to celebrate, a future to build. The theme celebrates the rich past and present contributions and accomplishments of Black people in Canada while aspiring to embrace new opportunities for the future. So great. Really happy that they continue to have this month. And yeah, I think it's something that we should also put some dedication to this podcast for. And yeah, thought we should make mention of it for sure.
no, I first off I appreciate that, and then secondly, it's good for others to recognize that there's significant excellence from Black people across the board.
Yeah,
Certain things that we've done that there's you didn't know
yeah,
or you learned something, right?
sure. Yeah,
And
all the
I,
time.
I I like that. I like the fact that it's just a chance to learn.
Yeah,
This is a chance to learn about somebody else's race, about somebody else's culture, somebody else's heritage. And I think that's always a benefit, regardless if it's Black History Month or any other month. If it's a chance to learn, then it's a chance to grow. And
yeah,
that's a good thing.
yeah. Well said. I appreciate that. Yeah. Um, I had quite the interesting weekend. Yesterday was really great. Complete Sports Media has decided that we are going to sponsor some local athletes and help them earn some money while they play their sports, and they can dedicate themselves to the sport instead of having to find part-time jobs. I went out and saw the Langley Eagles hockey hockey team over the weekend, and they are celebrating their 50th anniversary as an organization. And I watched their goalie. His name is Nathan Rosenberg. I watched him pitch a shutout. He's had multiple shutouts this year, and just was fantastic. Was the reason why Langley won the game on the weekend. And Complete Sports Media is going to sponsor him and help him through his journey, his hockey journey. So we're very excited. We'll put some details on our website, and they are that was their final game of the regular season, and they are going to start the playoffs in the coming weeks. I'll give some updates as we find out more details about that, and good luck to him. Yeah, we'll see where his career takes him, but we're really excited and proud to have some local athletes. We're looking at some others, and if you know of any that you would like us to take a look at, send off your comments and some contact information, and we'll get back to you, and we'll try to do our best to reach all of you that have other great athletes locally that yeah, would like sponsorship, and yeah, we would love to help.
That's awesome. That's great. That's fantastic news. It's great to hear, and I look forward to hearing about more athletes that you're going to take on under the CSM banner. So that's going to be good.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
can't wait. Yeah, it's gonna be great. So you and I always like talking about food. We went to a fantastic restaurant on the weekend that I want to make mention of. The place is called Bow Down. It's down in Olympic Village. They have these um, Filipino bao. They are kind of. Have you ever had baos? They're little. They're a little dough. It's kind of like a bit of a pita, and they put different kinds of meat and vegetables in it. They're just super tasty, really fantastic. Have you ever eaten bao?
No,
No.
I didn't even know what it is.
Huh?
So you're saying it's not a wrap, but it's actually like a flaky pastry, like soft, doughy,
It's
and
doughy,
inside.
yeah. It's kind of about this round, and
Okay.
you can wrap it once you put the toppings into it. You wrap it a little bit and
Yeah.
eat it like you would a taco type of a thing.
Yeah.
They yeah, I've had them over the years, and I always try to go down to this place. It's one of my favorites. We went down there, and it was phenomenal. They have a really great deal. I think it's four of them for 25. So you can try all different types of flavors. They also have Mr. Beast burgers there. And Mr. Beast is one of the biggest social media gurus on the planet. He has his Mr. Beast burgers. And so we tried three of them and was very impressed. Uh, Great prices and very tasty burgers. And this place also has sushi there, so they have quite the variety of food that you can get in the same place. Great drinks, and we had just an awesome time there.
Okay, let me see. Let me get it straight. So Bow Down is a restaurant that serves not only Filipino food, but American food, but Mr. Beast burgers and sushi. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you ate all of this together. Like, how much did you eat? Like, did
Oh
you not?
man, just kept eating all day. It was great. Yeah, had
Awesome.
our fill. We even had stuff to take home and eat the next day. So yeah, no, it was fantastic. I just kept ordering more. I was like, oh, I think I'll have some of these, and yeah, why don't you send a couple of those over and a few more of these? And oh yeah, it was just beautiful. What an absolutely awesome way to spend a Saturday during the day and go down there and yeah, have just incredible amount of great food, incredible flavors, and I couldn't recommend it highly enough.
Okay, so it sounds like you had an unbuckle the belt moment. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so speaking of food, actually, then I have a story to share. I always love going over to my cousin's place. My cousin lives out in Langley. He's Jamaican like myself, knows how to cook the Jamaican food. So I go over there with my Tupperware in hand, as I always do, so
Nice.
I can take some to go. But this time around, I was like, you know what? Before I go home, there's one of my favorite pizzerias that's like in the Lower Mainland. I grew up with in Abbotsford, but they have one in Walnut Grove, and so
Oh,
it's on my way home.
nice.
It's called Jim's Pizza,
Mm,
and it is absolutely awesome. It is so good. It
wow.
is so good. So I got a large pizza to go. I can't. I think it was called the Fire Alarm Pizza or something like that. Anyways, beautiful pizza. It had capicola, had pepperoni, Cajun chicken, jalapeno peppers.
Wow.
And I got it home. I've already eaten, right? But I'm like, I'm gonna have a couple pieces here. I had more than a couple pieces because it was so damn good. I still have some left. After we're done here, I'm going to devour the rest of that. It is great pizza. So Jim's
Holy
Pizza.
cow. What did
You
you
haven't
say the
been
name
there?
was? I didn't quite hear.
Jim's Pizza. It's called
Jim's.
Jim's
Okay,
Pizza.
Jim's.
Yeah.
All right.
It is great pizza. Great
Wow.
pizza.
I'll have to check it out one day.
Yeah.
You had spice like crazy, hey? You had the Jamaican
Yeah.
food and then you went for the fire alarm pizza. So
Yeah.
hot spice the whole time.
No, no, it was good. It was good. I probably messed up the name of that actual pizza, but I did not mess up the contents on that pizza.
Okay.
That was good stuff.
Brilliant.
Good.
Wow, love it. Um, yeah, it's nice to find terrific food and yeah, it makes us happy. That evening I had been on social media earlier in the week and I noticed that they were promoting this secret night out and you bought tickets. They didn't give you the location on where you were going until a couple hours before you were going to go there. And it was for a comedy night. So they said the neighborhood was close to here where I am in Richmond. And I said, okay, great. I'll buy some tickets. So around you're supposed to be there about 7:30, it said. So around 5 o'clock, I started trying to find if they had sent me the location yet. Nope, couldn't find it. Started searching a little more, a little more, a little more. I guess it went into my junk mail in my email. Finally found it a couple hours to spare type of thing. And it ended up in Marpole in your neighborhood.
Oh,
So I punched in the details into my GPS and started driving there. It's just off of Kent and Ontario, close to
oh,
Main
okay.
Street. Yeah, pretty close to your neighborhood there, or pretty close to where you live there. And it ended up being just this warehouse. You wouldn't have been able to tell that it was anything but a warehouse, some kind of industrial business. And we walked in there, and we were the only people in the whole place. Just us two, seven comedians, a bartender, a doorman, and us two. And so I was like, this is gonna be kind of interesting. So we just sat there for 10, 15 minutes and it was just us, just us. I finally said, hey, do you want to open the bar for us? And the guy said, yeah, sure, we could do that. So he opened the bar and we get drinks. And just as we were ordering the drinks and getting them, whoosh, like about 30 people just all rushed in and all took all the seats. And I'm like, oh, great. What the heck? So luckily, I don't like sitting up front in comedy. I like sitting near the back so I don't have to interact, get heckled or whatever.
Yeah.
So there was some seats near the back, luckily. Not in the most ideal spot out of the whole night, but anyway, we were pretty fine. Comedians started coming up and we were laughing, we were enjoying ourselves. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, they said the MC came up and said, "This is cool. This is why we do this kind of stuff. Comedians once in a while will just pop into town. They'll knock on our door and they'll say, 'Hey, can I do a set?' can I just come up and do a set? And the guy, he's a Canadian, Jerry D, walked up on stage, and
Oh shit!
they weren't planning on him being there. They didn't know he was going to be there. He had just heard from a comedian friend that they had this underground kind of secret comedy thing, and he decided to go and check it out. And then he said, "Hey, do you mind if I go up for 10 minutes and do a bit?" And they said, "Sure." So he walked up, and yeah, it was pretty cool. That was neat because we just thought it would be a few local comedians, good night out. But it's kind of wild to see a guy who's pretty famous here in Canada.
No, that's awesome. So definitely worth the price of admission.
Yeah,
Number one, and number two, I'm just happy that more people showed up, and it wasn't just you two just
yeah,
sitting there watching comedy comedians do their
yeah.
thing.
I know we'd be having to try to laugh, at every joke, and it'd be a little uncomfortable if the person really wasn't making us laugh. Like, shoo, what the hell? Yeah, I know. It was super weird. We were like, oh man, this is strange. I wonder if we're the only two here all night, how this is gonna turn out. But it was just bizarre. It was like, as soon as we got to the bar and we were just handing us their drinks, whoosh, everybody just comes in and takes all the seats. And she's like, go get the seats quick, go get some seats, like it was so weird. It was just for some reason. I don't know if they just opened the door just at that moment. I guess they must have. I don't know, but it was just so bizarre.
How many people ended up showing up? Was it like
I'd
about
say
50?
maybe about 40 to 50, nothing massive. It was a pretty small place.
Okay, well that's good. It's good enough, right? Because I
Yeah.
guess that's what they had in their mind, anyways, when they did it like that. So, but very cool that Jerry D just showed up out of the blue, out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
Yeah, that was neat. Yeah, I liked a lot of his comedy, and he's always very witty on Canadian Family Feud there, and yeah, he's done well for himself. He's the creator, producer, main actor on Mr. D on CBC. I think CBC and him have a really good relationship because he seems to do a lot of work with them.
Yeah, no, no. I think he has a great relationship with them, great working relationship, and plus on top of that, it's probably one of their best programs that they have on CBC is his show. So
Exactly. Yeah. You're right, yeah. As I mentioned, I watched the Grammys. Wow. The Grammy Awards were just unbelievable. So great. I was blown away how incredible of a award show it was. Sometimes those things drag and you kind of get intermixed. There's, things that you don't really enjoy, and there's genres of music that you might not really like. So, maybe turn the channel, or, I don't know, just get a little bored with it. But this was absolutely amazing from start to finish. I could not believe all the incredible things that they put together. Dua Lipa started, and absolutely amazing performance by her. Incredible choreography, some of the best dancing I've ever seen, some of the coolest things to start it off. And then they just had so many amazing artists come up on stage, do incredible performances. And then they got to the point in the show where they do tributes to the people that have passed away in 2023. And oh my God, it's crazy how many iconic musical figures passed away in 2023, and the tributes that they gave to them. An amazing one to Tina Turner, Jimmy Buffett, Tony Bennett, Sinead O'Connor, uh, Burt Bacharach, Clarence Avant, the godfather of black music. He was honored by Lenny Kravitz. I just could not believe how many incredible tributes they were doing to these artists that had passed away last year. Yeah, it was phenomenal.
oh, that's first off, that's fantastic. It's incredible. It's good that they honored the people that have passed because those are the people that lit the way for others to follow. So it's always a good thing to see. And it's just a shame that there's so many of them that passed over the
Yeah.
past year.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Jay-Z got a lifetime award. It's called the Dr. Dre Award. Um, really, yeah, he was really touched by it. Dre was in the crowd, so that was nice. He was honoring him. They, as I said earlier, Taylor Swift got Album of the Year, the only artist to ever have Album of the Year 4 different times. There was an amazing tribute to Tracy Chapman. Her song "Fast Car" was covered by a country artist, and he asked her to come and perform it with him. That performance gave me goosebumps. It was an incredible performance.
That's that's cool. Like
Yeah,
I would never have even thought of a collaboration like that with Tracy Chapman. Like
yeah,
I never would have considered that to be a thing until it's done, right? So
yeah.
and that's cool. That's very
Yeah.
cool.
His name is Luke Combs, I believe his name was. I think I wrote it down here. Yeah. So, and then the best heavy metal performance was won by Metallica, but a Victoria band called Spirit Box was nominated in the category, and a huge, great accomplishment for a local BC band to be one of the top heavy metal acts of the year.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's an incredible accomplishment that they're mentioned in the same name as Metallica. Well, there it looks like their future is very bright
Yeah,
going
I
forward.
believe so. Yeah. And Joni Mitchell also had an incredible performance. She's about 80 years old, I believe. And yeah, she came out. They had her in a really nice kind of throne, and she sang an incredible song with lots of accompaniment musicians, and the place just went bananas. Celine Dion, who's battling a life-threatening disease, she came out and presented Taylor Swift with her award and got a massive standing ovation. And yeah, just on and on and on. I'm telling you, one of the best things I've ever seen.
Wow, that sounds like it was one of the best Grammys ever done.
Yeah.
That sounds like it was a monumental moment.
Yeah, sure was. Yeah, incredible. Um, as I mentioned off the top, All-Star, it's basically All-Star week this week for both the NHL and the NFL. The NFL held their skills competition and their Pro Bowl in Orlando. They had 55,000 fans come out to the game yesterday. Had a ton of people coming out for the skills competition. The skills was held on, most of the skills were held on Thursday, and then they had a couple days break, and then a bunch of skills were happening today, on yesterday, intermixed with the game. Um, it was pretty good. I enjoyed the skills a bit. I'm still not that big of a fan of the flag football and the no defense, and it just seemed like what you might see, in your neighborhood at a park. It just did not seem like, these are professional football players that are playing the game of football. But I guess they did their best they can over the game that they had a couple of years ago was just so awful that they've had to try to shake it up.
Yeah, they got to try to shake it up. They got to try something new because it's like the guys, the athletes, the football players are like, I'm not gonna take a needed punishment,
Yeah,
and this is not a game. Right? Like it's not the game. It's just this is just something for the fans.
yeah,
And so I understand that because I saw a little bit, I saw some highlights of it. I'm like, okay, that's exactly what I thought it would be. Cool. And then I saw something old school, like an old school Pro Bowl game. And this is when I think it was the free safety Sean Taylor for the Washington Redskins. He laid this hit on one of the running backs, and he looked like he knocked him out. And I'm like, oh man, we'll never see that again.
right.
Never
Yeah,
ever will we see that kind of stuff again. Because they were playing real football back then. I think this was back when Barry Sanders was still there and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that those days are gone
Yeah.
forever. We will never see that again. And now we're with flag football now.
Yeah.
This is it. This is what
Yeah,
we have.
that's true. Yeah. Robert Griffin the third actually wore a Sean Taylor jersey as a tribute to him. Um, he wore a Tony Siragusa jersey,
Yep.
uh, trying to honor some of the players that we've lost over the years, and yeah, they did a phenomenal job. Some of the reporters like Ryan Clark was doing an absolutely incredible job, I thought, really asking some fun questions, keeping it light, really keeping the guys engaged. They had Marcus Spears there, Dan Orlovsky, who I really, really love and respect, and I think he breaks down the game of football better than anybody. Scott Van Pelt was on the main desk, and yeah, Laura Rutledge. The ESPN crew did a absolutely phenomenal job. I love seeing the Mannings against each other. They like ribbing each other and having fun. They're both hilarious guys, and it's kind of smart and cool to have them both as the coaches of the NFC and the AFC. I thought that adds a really fun dynamic.
No, those guys are hilarious. Like I recently just saw a rap done by Eli Manning where he somewhat dissed Tom Brady. Said, "Oh, Tom Brady is the GOAT. How could that be? I beat you twice." And then I was like, "Oh," and in my head, I'm just like, "He did beat him twice.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's that guy's kryptonite. Tom Brady, who almost had a perfect season until he met Eli Manning. So, and I love the fact that Eli has fun with that. But it's just like, I wonder if he even goes to, let's say, if they go to like a dining or an event together. He's like, so Tom, what about those 2 rings you didn't get? Have a good ring with
Yeah.
it.
That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, he won MVP of both those games, Eli, and was able to, snatch those 2 rings right off of Brady's hands. Like it's incredible, yeah. And it's good that he jokes around about it. It's awesome. It's super fun. I love it.
Oh, it's super fun. But thank goodness he actually did that. All
Yeah,
right.
true.
Because if he didn't do
9.
that,
Imagine
nine,
9. Yeah,
nine,
9.
forget it. Forget it. Nobody's ever gonna get there. Nobody's ever gonna get there.
Yeah, thank goodness for Eli Manning,
Yeah.
or yeah, that's the most untouchable record ever created by man.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the game was actually won by the AFC, but because the NFC had won almost every one of the skills competition, the NFC ended up winning. Second year in a row, Eli was able to best Peyton and take it home. The MVP of the game was Baker Mayfield. Offensive MVP was Baker Mayfield, which is pretty incredible. And the defensive MVP was Demario Davis from the Saints. There was some pretty great performances by a lot of the players. Keenan Allen had 3 touchdowns receiving, had 1 touchdown throwing, and almost caught the winning touchdown in the end zone as time expired. But Juwan Johnson just tipped it out of his hands, and he wasn't able
Uh,
to hold on, or he would have won MVP for sure. 5 touchdown performance and the winning touchdown there. Who else? CD Lamb caught 3 touchdowns. CJ Stroud had a beautiful touchdown where he was scrambling, running to his left, threw back, and caught Jamar Chase in the corner of the end zone for a gorgeous touchdown. There was, I think, 4 picks by the NFC, and one of them was a pick six. And some of the other guys that had pretty good games. Well, Amon-Ra St. Brown had 10 catches, 117 yards, and a touchdown. CJ's numbers were 18 for 23, 173 yards. And Geno Smith was pretty good as well, 15 for 21, 154 yards. But the skills competition, holy cow, I could not believe it was just so one-sided. NFC just blew them out of the water almost in every single solitary competition that they had. And AFC's gonna have to send some better guys to take that next year, because that's 2 in a row, and it was not even close.
So what you're saying is, could this be possibly foreshadowing for the Super Bowl?
Maybe,
Foreshadowing.
maybe it could be. Niners might be the team. Big day Thursday. It's the NFL awards. That goes 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. Lots of big awards, obviously, on the go. Everyone's been talking all year. It seems like Lamar Jackson will get the MVP. He goes up against Josh Allen, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, and Christian McCaffrey. Do you see it's Lamar's to lose?
I would say so. Since it's always based on the regular season, yeah, I would say it's his to lose. Yeah.
The offensive player of the year, they have basically, it looks like it's between Christian McCaffrey and Tyreek Hill. McCaffrey had over 2,000 scrimmage yards, and Hill had over 1,800 reception yards. And yeah, that's going to be a tough one. I don't know who you give it to there.
Toss up.
Yeah.
I think they're both worthy of the award. They're both warranting to get the award, but I toss up 50-50.
Yeah.
50.
Defensive player of the year is between some hell of a great list of players. We got Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Max Crosby, and Roquan Smith. That's going to be very, very difficult to choose between those guys.
Oh, they all had good seasons, man. They all had good seasons. I think my top three out of that might be Roquan Smith, Myles Garrett, and Max Crosby.
Okay.
But tough. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
I think TJ Watt's getting that. I think that's
Oh, yeah.
where I think I'm leaning, but we will see. Coach of the year, we got Dan Campbell, Kevin Stefanski, Matt LaFleur, Sean McVay, and D'Amico Ryans.
Okay, Sean McVay. I died D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah.
I'd say D'Amico.
Yeah. And then we've got offensive rookie of the year. I think CJ Stroud's got that in the bag.
Yeah. Easy.
We got Sam Laporta, we got Puka, we got guys like that, but I think CJ has wrapped that up.
Yeah, I'd say it was CJ, and then right close behind would be Puka Nacua.
Yeah. And then defensive rookie of the year, we've got Brian Branch from the Lions. We've got Will Anderson Jr. from the Texans, Jalen Carter from the Eagles, Colby Turner from the Rams, and Devon Witherspoon from the Seahawks.
I think I'd go with Will Anderson from the Texans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet the Texans will get both offensive and defensive. That'll be incredible.
Yeah, I think so.
Comeback player of the year. This one is crazy. Baker Mayfield is getting consideration, but Joe off the couch Flacco's in this, as well as DeMar Hamlin. DeMar comes back from that. Flacco just comes back from off the couch. Baker comes back from obscurity. I don't know. I kind of think I'm leaning towards DeMar, but what do you think?
I think I would lean toward the guy that almost died.
Yeah.
Like, if you really want to talk about comeback player of the year, the guy that came back like the Undertaker, I'd probably give it to him.
Yeah. Any other year, Flacco's got it hands down, but yeah, I think you gotta give it to DeMar. The Walter Payton Man of the Year is one of the top ones, and that will be very celebrated and fun to watch. Love watching the awards for the NFL. It's a fantastic event. And Super Bowl, we got Super Bowl coming up Sunday. Seems like a lot of people are really leaning towards those Niners and that NFC taking it, but can Patrick Mahomes get his third Super Bowl? And that that really great threesome that they have of Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, and Patrick Mahomes wanting to get that third title. Yeah, I think it's going to be a hell of a game and something we talk about for many years to come.
I think you forgot the fourth element to their team now for the Kansas City Chiefs, the Swifties. You forgot about the Swifties. So there's the fourth man, like there's the 11th man or whatever. It's the Swifties. But I I would oh, man. I would go with the Niners. I'm going with the Niners because
Okay.
I think they just have more offensive weapons. But I say that with the caveat of I'm probably going to be wrong because when you bet against Mahomes, you usually get burned because Mahomes is now our modern day Brady. That's kind of what happens now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you want to bet against me? That's great. You should do that all the time. I'm gonna beat you then.
Yeah.
So I don't. I think it's going to be a super close game. I think it's a personally. I think it's a pick 'em. Whoever you think, I think it's a 50-50 chance for each team because whatever offensive advantage the 49ers have, I think Mahomes by himself neutralizes it.
Yeah.
Because by him being there, just neutralizes your advantage. So, yeah. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the Niners do to try to take Kelsey out of the game to take Rashee Rice. After you get past those two guys, how does Mahomes find the weapons that he needs to to win this game? So that would be my game plan. See how we can take those two guys out of the mix. But yeah, Mahomes magic. He is the greatest of his generation and really starting to, separate himself from everybody else and chasing that Brady character way up the chain.
Yeah, yeah. And the funny thing is, if he does somehow manage to win his third, he's the only one that has a chance of doing it.
Yeah.
Like he's
Yeah.
literally the only guy out there right now playing football that has a chance of doing it, which is the most ridiculous thing because it's like, well, you still got to get four more, and you still haven't even got the third. We're just saying if
Yeah.
you get the third,
If he gets it, yeah.
you have to get four more. So
Crazy.
yeah, good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Okay. Yeah, can't wait. Can't wait for the game. It's going to be fun as always. And yeah, we will of course break it down next Monday after the big game. This weekend also had the NHL All-Star festivities that was held in Toronto, and it was pretty fun. It actually had a lot of great elements to it. The games are really not for me. They're not for you. They're not for uh, fans of the game at our age. This is for the kids. This is for the corporate sponsors. This is for people on the fringe that don't follow the game very much. But when the stars are out, they really want to take a look. It's definitely not for me. So I did watch, but yeah, it's not it's not the kind of hockey that I grew up with that I love. It's just a different element to it.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not anything that counts for anything.
No.
The players now know that, and they don't play it for anything else other than the fact that we got to be out there because we're all stars. So we'll just kind of skate around. We'll do something fancy. We'll do stuff, and then that's it.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
I have to give a tribute out to Kevin Bieksa. He was fantastic on the microphone. NHL players are notoriously known for not being very great on the microphone. A lot of them don't have exuberant personalities. A lot of them don't really, show their personality too often in the media. So Bieksa was given a hard job to try to get that out of them. I thought he did a fantastic job, and I appreciated his involvement. And if he wasn't there, I think it would have diminished the enjoyment that I had, and a lot of people would have. So thank you so much, Kevin, for doing that. It was a really good element. You did a terrific job. So the skills competition was revamped and changed. And I guess Connor McDavid actually had a lot of input to try to put some elements into the skills competition to make it as fun as possible and challenging for all the athletes. And so guess who wins? Connor McDavid. He wins $1 million. He designs it, created it perfectly for his skill set, and took the $1 million check and said, "Thank you guys. Showed you I'm the best." And I don't know. I don't know who. I don't know if they gave it to somebody else, what they would have changed that. But he sure put it. Great skills competitions in place that he shone at and was able to collect the check. And I thought it was kind of fun.
That's hilarious
Yeah.
because they went to the guy that has some of the greatest skills we've ever seen and said, you want to make this a little bit better to accentuate your skills? It's like, you know what? Yeah, I could do that. I could use an extra million. So I think to make it like kind of more fair, maybe they want to do that with like an all-star every year and say, what changes would you like to make to
Right.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
skill competition? Like maybe next year will be his teammate Leon Draisaitl will be like, well, I'm just gonna make sure I'm not gonna focus on his skill set, focus on my skill set this time, right?
Yeah.
I think that would be better.
Yeah, it was pretty fun element. I don't know who decided. I don't know who decided on the 12 guys that were participating, and I don't know who decided that Connor would have that input, but he did great and he won. It was fun to see him display his skills. The guy is absolutely incredible, and I think the best player of all time, skill set, full talent wise. Wayne Gretzky, I don't think will ever be surpassed in everything, but McDavid, wow, it was phenomenal. Once they got to the games on Saturday, they had the four teams battling it out. There was one team that was Team Hughes, Quinn Hughes, picked all the Canadian players except for the new guy, Elias Lindholm, who they just traded for. One of the biggest trades in recent memory for the Canucks. Last year, they traded Bo Horvat right at the same time of year, and Bo ended up playing with his old teammates on the same team. Elias ended up getting picked by a different team, didn't get to play with his team, was picked by the singer Tate McRae because she's from Calgary, and she said she was sad to see him go, really wanted him on her team. So he got picked, didn't get to play with his new teammates yet. First game he'll get to play with them will be tomorrow night in Carolina. So, but it was great to see the Hughes team play together. Quinn had a really good game. The game they played, they ended up losing in a shootout. Quinn had 3 assists. Pedersen had a goal, and that team played really well, but ended up losing in a shootout. And the other teams advanced. Team Matthews ended up winning it all in the end, and Austin Matthews from the Leafs, the hometown guy, got the MVP. He won the $1 million check for the All-Star game, so that made the hometown crowd really happy, and a lot of kids you could see throughout the arena wearing Matthews jerseys, and he's their hero.
So was it a work? That's my question. So there you go. Yeah, well, you kind of had to go that way. We're in Toronto, so the hometown guy had to win. Well, that it seems suspicious to me, but that's cool. That's cool. I'm glad to see that Matthews won $1 million.
Yeah, good for him, and it turned out great for all. I think all the kids seemed super happy, and it was good. I don't love seeing 3-on-3 a whole entire game of it, but yeah, good on them. They did what they came to do. They entertained the kids, entertained their corporate sponsors, and it turned out pretty great. Lanny McDonald was there for the festivities. As he traveled home today, I guess he had a cardiac event and has been hospitalized. And so our prayers and thoughts go out to Lanny and his entire friends and family. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious. It was really sad to see. Love seeing Lanny part of the festivities like this. Love seeing him at the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. And, he's such a character, has been such an ambassador for the game. Yeah, I guess as he was traveling back home, had this heart event, is in the hospital. As I said, our prayers go out to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Our prayers go out to him, and hopefully, it's not a major thing, and he can bounce back soon.
Yeah. I mentioned the new guy. We've got Elias Lindholm from the Calgary Flames. He came over to the Canucks in a massive trade just before the All-Star break. Was for 3 players and 2 draft picks. Some Canucks fans are hating the deal. Many seem to be loving it. I think it was a fantastic move. I don't think the Canucks had to give up much, in my opinion, to get a guy that's going to be in your top 6. Rick Tocchet said he's going to play with Elias Pettersson, and the 2 Swedes will be on a line with the Russian Ilya Mikheyev, and those 3 will be combined together in the early stages. There's also talk that maybe Connor Garland would move from that 3rd line, go up to that 2nd line. Mikheyev has struggled in the last little while here, but he's going to Tocchet's going to give him every opportunity to make that a line, and that will be pretty formidable. Really bolstering that top 6 for the Canucks as they head into the last 33 games of their schedule and try to keep on top of the NHL like they are when the break happened.
Well, Tocchet managed to get rid of the guy that was kind of constantly in his doghouse, which was Kaminsky.
Yeah.
And he got this guy, and he didn't have to give up much because at the end of the day, the team didn't need that much tweaking anyways.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. And I think what he did, what the team did, the organization did, I think it's a fantastic move.
Yeah.
Great move.
Yeah.
So, and I think we're going to see the fruits of that. It's going to take a little while for them to mesh and mold and all that sort of stuff. But the team is fantastic over it.
Yeah.
They're really good. So they'll have time to mesh that line together and to make it work. I think it was a brilliant move on the Canucks' part. Brilliant move.
Yeah, I thought they did an absolutely fantastic job with it. Kuzmenko wasn't fitting in. He had been benched. He really wasn't meshing with the style that Tocchet wanted to play, and it was time to move on. So yeah, I hope he does great in Calgary. But I think this was a fantastic move, and we'll see if there's any more moves. We're just under a month away from the trade deadline. There might be a few more tweaks as they get close. We'll see if they can continue their momentum and playing super well. The Oilers are poised to break the NHL record for consecutive wins in a row. They played tomorrow night against the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Canucks also played tomorrow night, first game back against Carolina. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the Oilers can break this all-time record. They went in so hot, didn't really want to take a break, had to do so. Connor's got the $1 million in his pocket now, gets to go to Vegas and try to break this record.
What's the record again?
17 wins in a row. They've got 16 right now, so it would tie the record tomorrow night if they get the victory.
Well, that's pretty incredible if they could do that, and if they can keep it going, because they didn't seem like a team that could be able to do this.
No,
right? And then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, it's like, no, we're good.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. I don't know where this came from. It seems like it's the coaching change, but yeah, all of a sudden, wham, they went from one of the worst teams in the league to one of the best, and yeah, I'm just blown away how good they are right now. So we'll see coming out of this All-Star break how good they are and if they can keep the momentum going. Huge news yesterday. The World Cup of Soccer coming here to North America in 2026 was able to release the details on the match schedules. And here in Canada, we're getting 13 games of the World Cup. We're getting 7 here in Vancouver, 6 in Toronto. We're going to have 2 games involving Canada in the group stages. We're going to get a round of 32 game, and we're going to get a round of 16 game here in Vancouver. It's incredible news. When they play that round of 16 game here in July of 2026, I believe it's July 7th, 2026, it'll be the biggest sporting event ever held here locally in Vancouver in the history of the city. And can't wait. It's going to be phenomenal. Have to be there, need to be there. And so great that the government and FIFA came together and were able to secure this many games here. It's going to just explode the game of soccer here, and it's going to be the biggest tournament in the history of the world. The World Cup's been 32 teams for many years. It's expanded to 48 teams this time, and so there's more games, a bigger stage, and this is going to be just so incredible. We're a little more than 2 years away, but it's going to go fast, and yeah, it's going to be so fun to have them here.
It's going to be awesome. But the thing I'm actually more impressed with is that we got one more game than Toronto. That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's really impressive. I never would have thought that could have happened.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. They get the first game, so maybe because they got the first game, they said, okay, we'll give Vancouver one more game. We have a bigger stadium, so we'll be able to sell more seats. Their stadium is being actually renovated right now. I don't know all the ins and outs of the renovations they're doing to the stadium. I don't know if they're increasing the capacity, but I believe their capacity is somewhere around about 48,000 fully capacity. Ours is 56. But the FIFA said that the stadium wasn't up to their standards, and they had to put some money and some time into renovating it and making it better. So, but yeah, I was a bit surprised too. Toronto usually gets, usually more than we get for almost anything. And yeah, pretty great to have some bragging rights that we do get one more game than them.
Oh no, that's fantastic. It's so good to know that we're better than them. For one thing, we're
Yeah.
better.
The opening game of the World Cup, first game of the whole entire tournament, will be held in Mexico, and the final game will be held in New York City at MetLife Stadium. There's going to be a bunch of games in Seattle as well. So if you really want to see games and you can't get tickets here, just be able to go down across the border and see some games down in Seattle. There's already talk on how the hell we're gonna get tickets. I saw some numbers on the last World Cup, and I guess in the whole entire tournament there was 3 million seats available, but there was, I think, requests for about 18 million people tried to get seats. So it's a lottery system. I don't know, how it's all going to work. How many tickets will be available to the buying public? Because some delegations get tickets as well and stuff. But yeah, it's going to be crazy. Hopefully, you and your friends and family and people that anybody that's watching or listening, can get some tickets and enjoy this, because yeah, this is incredible that's coming here. I think there's about 75 games in the U.S. and then 13 here in Canada, the rest in Mexico, and it's great that it's coming to North America. And yeah, it's just wild that we're getting such a massive sporting event here.
No, it's fantastic. But there's one thing I definitely can guarantee. I would say the ticket prices are going to be cheaper than the Super Bowl coming up.
Yeah,
I think I
probably.
can
Yeah,
guarantee that.
I would think for sure. Yeah, that's true. Um, what else? Oh, in the world of soccer, I wanted to mention Lionel Messi has caused a big stir. You and I talked about how the Whitecaps were going to be playing in Miami earlier this year. Tickets went on sale, got scooped up right away. People were paying anywhere from 250 to like 8,000. It was pretty crazy, and I said, be careful. He might not play. And you'll be pretty upset if you're spending thousands and thousands of dollars and he doesn't play. And you said, oh, he's going to play. Well, Hong Kong had a game against Miami this weekend, and the coach decided not to play Messi 1 second. The fans started chanting, refund, refund, refund. The organizers are in hot water with the Hong Kong government, who was going to
Ooh.
give them $2 million to organize this and put this together. Now they're rescinding that money and they're not going to give it to them. They're telling them that they should be refunding a percentage of the money for these fans. There's a massive outcry. Everyone's mad. Suarez and Messi just sat on the sideline the entire game. The coach didn't even just throw them in obligatory for a few minutes. It was brutal. It was brutal. And I'm telling you, soccer is famous for crap like this, and this can happen here. This can really legitimately happen here. They said he, might have tweaked something a little bit, but they didn't have an injury designation. But
Sure.
it was horrible. He didn't play a second, and everybody that attended the game was really upset.
Like, why not throw him in for the last 10 to 15 minutes of the game and be like, you don't even have to really do much. Just kind of run around a little bit.
Yeah.
Just that's all you had to do. But I love the coach that says, nah, they get nothing. Nothing.
Brutal.
Nothing.
Yeah, so brutal. Oh man, I was just shocked. But yeah, it happens. I've had it happen in other games I went to try to see. I tried to see Beckham play. I've tried to see Ronaldo play. I've tried to see, some of the top players in the world, and they just weren't playing that game. They just didn't suit up, and that was too bad for me and too bad for everybody that came. And soccer is pretty notorious for those kind of things happening, and the outrage is bad, and I would feel really bad for a lot of local fans here that had to spend thousands of dollars on a ticket.
Yeah, $1,000 for nothing. Like, I didn't know that load management spread out to all these other sports, but it's there.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
It seems to me the only sports you can depend on where you're going to see your stars play: baseball, football. That's it.
Yeah, mostly, yeah. Football, there's tons of injuries, so
No,
you're not guaranteed that, but
yeah, but if they're
yeah.
injured, they're injured, and you know that.
Yeah, for sure they're injured, not playing. But yeah, there's not load management in football. But
No.
yeah, baseball, yeah, you can pretty much guarantee you're gonna get to see your guy. And especially because they're usually coming in for a 4-game set, so
Yeah.
you'll be able to see them almost for sure in one of those games. So buy tickets for a couple games, and baseball's cheap too. So, but yeah, it's crazy, and yeah, I just hope that they don't have a fiasco like that again, because it's really going to turn off a lot of people that really want to see him play in his twilight of his career in MLS, and he's caused such a great buzz about this league, about this entire North America as a legitimate place for a superstar. And if this happens a few more times, it's really going to harm the league and harm Inter Miami, and probably Messi as a whole too, because a lot of people will be quite upset with him.
Well, yeah, it's going to hard ticket sales, the economy, all of that stuff tied to this one player. Now, I don't know if Messi's the one I don't think he's the one saying anything. I think he's just like, I'll just play what I'm supposed to play.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's this responsibility of his, which is just play a little bit. You don't have to play the entire freaking game. You don't. Just play the last 10 minutes for the last couple of games.
Yeah.
Can you do that? If we asked you to do this nicely, could you do? We are paying you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he should have played, and I thought it was a huge miss, and not good, not a good look. So
No.
hopefully we don't have to endure that again. That was that was tough to watch everybody so upset with him, and and especially the coach. It's amazing the coach made it out of Hong Kong alive. A
Right.
lot of people are going to be pretty bad with him. He seemed to be the one reason why Messi didn't see the field. Okay, there was a lot of stuff happening in the world of golf this weekend. This was the first weekend of the Live Golf for the third season. They were going to go head to head. They had a tournament in Mexico. It's called the Mayakoba Mexican Classic against the PGA, which was having their tournament down in California at Pebble Beach. And John Rahm, one of the top players in the world, probably number one, number two in the past couple of years, just decided to jump ship in the off season, join Live for something like $500 million. This was his first tournament, first chance you got to see him play. And a lot of the stars really weren't, aren't displayed anymore in the PGA Tour. PGA Tour started off pretty good and was getting some pretty good coverage. And then Sunday, they had a storm there, and they decided to postpone the round and push it into Monday. And they decided on Monday morning, no, we're calling it. And they just did 3 rounds, and they called the winner of the guy that finished first after Saturday's round. There's been a lot of PGA proponents, people that love the PGA Tour and don't like Live, saying how bad it is that Live only plays 3 rounds, 54 holes instead of 72, 4 rounds, and they just gave them hell. How could you play tournaments with 3 rounds? What a joke. It's not golf. You can't even count a guy as a winner after 3 rounds. What the hell is that? And then bam, that happened. And the great thing ended up being that Live plays their tournaments Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Live got to get the spectacle on Sunday, and no PGA Tour to face on Sunday. And great to see more people tuned into Live Golf this weekend on Sunday than had in the entire history before. And it was great. It was great. They got the showcase. PGA, after all their complaints and stuff, yeah, they just showed, hey, yeah, you can have 54-hole tournaments, I guess. And they got some egg on their face at the end of it, and Live looked good.
Well, that's it. That's what the traditionalists get. Like, where they're just like, oh, no, you have to do 72, but you know what? Sometimes weather won't allow you to do that. And I'm glad to see that the Live got the spotlight on them for once, and they didn't have to go up against the PGA. By the way, who won that Live tournament?
His name is Joaquin Neiman. He's from Chile. He came out on the opening round and he shot a 59. That's only the second 59 in the history of Live Golf, and only 11 players have ever shot 59 in the history of the PGA Tour. So he got a lot of press about it. It's such a rare thing for a guy to shoot under 60. And he was able to shoot minus 12 after the opening round. And it's a 3-round tournament. And as I mentioned, what do you think he finished with? What do you think his winning score was after 3 rounds? 12 under after one. What do you think it was after three?
Minus 18.
No.
No, am I not even close?
Not
Am I
even
not?
close.
Oh, minus 26?
Minus 12.
Oh, okay.
Weird. Yeah. He he was minus 12 after the first round. Second round, he was only he was +1. And then the third round, he was -1, so he went back to minus 12. He ended up tying Sergio Garcia, who plodded along, had his 3-4 under each day, and got the 12 under. And they had a marathon 4-hole playoff that ended up finishing basically in the dark. They could only see because the scoreboard was shining light down on the green enough for them to put it in. and Neiman ended up getting the putt in. He got penalized 2 strokes when he stepped onto the course on Sunday morning for something that they noticed on TV that after he had finished his round. He had moved the ball to a spot and they called him a 2-shot penalty on it. He was able to overcome that, still got into the playoff and ended up winning. He got a $4 million check for the victory. And but it was strange. 12 under after 1 and 12 under after 3 after 54 holes. He had to go to 58 holes to take the victory.
Yeah, that's kind of odd. I thought for sure, like if he was on fire like that, he would definitely have like won it with ease. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he just had the spectacular one round, and then that was it.
That was it. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. John Rahm ended up finishing in 3rd place. He was really, I think he was tied for the lead with 2 holes to play, and he was not able to pull it out. Was not able to get any birdies down the stretch. Ended up finishing tied for 3rd, 10 under. But his team won the team title, and he still got to collect a check for over $1 million. And and his 3rd place probably got him $1 million as well. So he was celebrating with champagne on the green, spraying all his teammates, and looked like he was having a blast. And he said it's actually one of the reasons he also came over to Live Golf, because he really liked the team aspect that the PGA Tour does not have. And he had convinced one of his buddies to join this past week. He was supposed to be playing on the PGA Tour this week. He withdrew, joined Live, got on Rahm's team, ended up winning $1.5 million himself. So pretty good weekend for those guys, and pretty cool that Liv was able to shine.
Yeah, yeah. And if I'm John Rahm, I would be spraying champagne all the time because I just signed for $500 million. So yeah, champagne every day, spraying it on myself.
Yeah, yeah. The PGA, the Pebble Beach PGA is a pro-am. They have amateurs the first 2 rounds, and then they finish, and then the pros go through 4 rounds typically. This one ended up being 3 rounds. Wyndham Clark ended up shooting a 60 on Saturday that got him into the lead. He was able to sleep on the lead, woke up the next day. They said, we're not playing golf today. Slept on the lead again. Woke up the next day. They said, we're not playing golf. You win. Here you go. He got $3.6 million for that win. It was his 4th victory. That 60 was the what pushed him into the lead. And Ludwig Aberg, the Swede, ended up finishing 2nd. He got a nice fat check of $2,160,000. Matthew Pavon, that we mentioned last week, the Frenchman who had won his first tournament last week, he got 3rd place. He got a paltry check of 1.36 million. So pretty nice for 3 days of work. And I loved seeing Josh Allen and Tom Brady were in the same group the first 2 days. Josh Allen ended up beating Tom Brady. First time he could ever say that, and really got to get some bragging rights. He said they had a wager, never said what the wager was, but he ended up winning and got the wager over Tom Brady. I guess the GOAT isn't the GOAT in golf as well, but it was kind of cool to watch. I watched a lot of that group going around, and both those guys are pretty talented golfers as well. And it was fun to see the 2 quarterbacks in the same group.
Yeah, no, I saw a little bit of that. I saw some Instagram stuff of Brady being introduced to Josh Allen's dad and stuff. So I thought, that's very cool. That you know, if you're Josh Allen, you bring the old man. It's like, well, you want to meet Tom Brady? He's like, yeah, of course I do, son. What are you talking about? Of course.
Yeah.
I was assuming that I was going.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was great. Great thing in the world of golf. The Live goes to Vegas for their tournament this weekend, which is super smart. They've got all the NFL players there, all the media there. They're going to have a lot of spotlight on them. and the PGA Tour goes to Phoenix. They play that Waste Management Open, which is where they have the big rock star party going on, music blaring. If guys sink a hole in one or get it close to the pin on 16, everybody just starts throwing their water bottles and beers up in the air, and it's a massive, massive party there. A couple of players have withdrawn this week. Victor Hovland, number 4 in the world, and Xander Schauffele, number 5 in the world, both withdrew. And there's rumors that they might be signing with Live Golf. What happened with Tyrrell Hatton, who withdrew for this tournament this weekend, joined Live Golf, boom, like that. That number 4, number 5 might be jumping ship. The Saudis might be just piecing them off money and continuously chipping away at all the PGA stars.
Yeah, well, they got the money to do that, and that's why they're super dangerous. But again, I thought they were supposed to be a union, but now that doesn't seem to be happening. And it looks like the PGA just shot themselves in the foot, anyways, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Really have.
Speaking of the Saudis, the Tyson Fury Alexander Usyk fight was postponed over the weekend. Tyson Fury got quite a nasty cut on the side of his head and his eye. Required 17 stitches to patch it up. They have picked another date now for this fight. It will be now May 18th in Saudi Arabia. And they put a clause in this contract now that if one of the fighters pulls out of this fight, they will be fined $10 million out of their pocket. They'll have to pay, and the Saudis are not willing to push this any farther. And yeah, I was really disappointed because I was looking forward to this fight in the next couple weeks, and now they've postponed it. I don't think May 18th is actually far enough because it's going to take a while for this to heal. He's not going to be able to train, especially very intensely while he's trying to make sure that that stays closed and it heals properly. So, I think they should have pushed it probably to June or July, but what do you think? May 18th doesn't seem like far enough out.
So it's like February now, April. Yeah, I would agree with you. I would say June, July. But he probably got pressure from the Saudis to say, no, man, we had a date.
Yeah.
You hurt yourself. Like, I don't know how you're training, but you shouldn't be training like that you get hurt like that. So I can kind of see where the Saudis are coming from for it to be sooner than later. But if you want the best product, you probably should have pushed it later.
Yeah.
Whatever. Either way, we're gonna get to see them fight at some point. So I'm good with that. I just want to see them at their best.
Yeah.
Both boxers.
Me too. Yeah. I mean, we've been waiting so long for it. We might as well see them at their absolute best. And
Exactly.
I just feel like, maybe another month or two just so he can fully heal and fully train and, have no excuses, go in at his best. They're both getting $60 million. They both, are really, wanting to do this finally. It took the Saudis and the money that they have to make this happen finally. So, we're all chomping at the bit and have wanted to see this for a few years. Hopefully it can come together and we can see a great epic battle. There was a bit of a press conference right after the announcement, and man, I couldn't believe the crazy stuff that was being flung around. Usyk's manager said that Tyson was faking it. He said, "Yeah, you just got your bitch to slam you in the head with a frying pan and give you a cut. Anybody can fake a cut." And Tyson was like, "You calling my woman a bitch? I'm gonna come and kill you." And he said, "No, I wasn't talking about your wife. I was just talking about one of your boys. I was calling one of your boys a bitch." And 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 then he was calling him a coward. You're not fighting because you're just a coward. And Tyson was like, how can I be a coward? I've 35 professional fights, fought the toughest guys in the world. Nobody has ever made me afraid. But there was war of words going back and forth pretty heavily. It was crazy.
Oh man, I guess Usyk's trainer is going off. He's like, "Fuck, I'm fighting you now. This is my battle." Like
Yeah.
I find it funny that Usyk's trainer is the one that's mouthing off, and Usyk really doesn't say much.
Doesn't say
You
much.
notice that?
No, he does
He
not.
doesn't say much at all.
No.
But again, I understand why the Saudis are trying to push it to May because they're just like, we're paying you both $60 million.
Yeah.
You're gonna listen to us now.
Let's do it. Yeah. Let's make it. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Just let's make it happen. Yeah. Just so disappointed that this cut happened. Hopefully
So
it doesn't change the outcome of a great fight that we're all expecting. So,
yeah.
I want to mention the UFC, but first I just want to mention the NBA. Two notes. Joel Embiid. We talked about him last week, how he was probably getting close to being out of the running for the MVP, having a career year with 30 more than 35 points a game, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks a game. Actually better numbers than when he won MVP last year, but he's decided to opt for surgery on his knee to repair the torn meniscus, and looks like his season's done. This is devastating news, obviously, for Philly, who was competing near the top of the Eastern Conference, and really after Harden left, they thought, get Maxey in there, put some pieces around Embiid. We've got a really legitimate shot, and the injury bug hits him again. He's been injury prone most of his career, unfortunately. Such a talent, but this is such a huge blow for the Sixers, Embiid, and the NBA as a whole.
Sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks, but you know what? These things happen, injuries happen. They're trying to lessen the load management thing, but this is a real injury.
Yeah.
And they were probably trying to monitor this injury that he had or could have gotten worse or gotten to the stage it got to now. Tried to monitor it so that it didn't get to this stage, but it happened.
Yeah.
So, you know what? If these things happen, it's too bad for Embiid. It's too bad for the 76ers, but they're now no longer a threat without him in the lineup. So, next year.
Yeah. Did you see the incident with Jonathan Kuminga, who landed on his knee? Embiid had missed a couple of games with some knee soreness, and then he came in and they were trying to get a loose ball, and he had his legs straight, and Kuminga came down and landed right on his knee and really ended up tearing that meniscus and causing the bulk of the injury.
Yeah. It didn't seem like it was intentional, right? Like it was just a swing for the ball. Yeah, it was just, you know what? I did see that, and it was just, yeah, it was unfortunate, but it happens, man. It's basketball. Like anything can happen, and the fact that like they were trying to monitor his knee and stuff, and then that happens, and you're just like, yeah, well, of course that happened.
Yeah,
of course.
Speaking of Kuminga and the Warriors, Steph Curry over the weekend had a 60-point game. He becomes just the 10th player in NBA history with multiple 60-point games, and the second player after the age of 35 to have a 60-point game. Do you know the only other player that's got a 60-point game after the age of 35?
I believe that's Kobe Bryant.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. The final game of his career, it's the 71 that he scored. And so both guys are now in the record books there. But guess what? The Warriors still lost that game. Steph got 60, and they lost in overtime to the Hawks. The numbers on everybody else were pretty bad. Quinones was the second highest scorer with 17. Kuminga had 16. Clay had 10, and Wiggins had 2 points in that game. He's really not getting help, and this team's sinking down. They're 12th in the West, and it's sad to see this great dynasty being just beat upon. and Steph trying his best to do what he can, but nobody's helping him.
Exactly, right? Like he can only do so much, and if you're if you're asking him to do more, I don't think there is anymore. Like I gave you 60, I just needed somebody else to step up, and then nobody else did. So, it's the end of a dynasty. Let's be
Yeah.
honest here. It's the end of a dynasty. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'm interested to see what the Warriors will do at trade deadline. Who's going to be
Yeah.
kept and who's going to go.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm very interested as well. They released some interesting details today about the All-Star game that's happening February 18th. The skills competition will be taking place on an all-glass LED court for the weekend festivities in Indianapolis. Um, the court will have design and color changes throughout. Live replays and video content will be able to be displayed on the floor. Stats, animations, interactive games for fans during timeouts. There'll be advertising, there'll be league sponsorship, and it'll be glass court. It's not going to be for the game, which will be on hardwood, but for the skills competition and the rising stars and things like that will take place on this glass LED court.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. You know what? I'll give Adam Silver this for his creative and innovations
Yeah.
for the game. Like I'll give him that, man. Like he's not afraid to try new things, and so far some of the stuff he's tried that's really worked. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how this goes. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, it says it'll be used for the celebrity game, the skills challenge, 3-point contest, dunk contests, and Steph Curry and Sabrina Ionescu are going to have their one-on-one 3-point challenge, which will be super fun.
Oh no, that's going to be awesome. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's in a couple of weeks for the NBA All-Star game. Okay, let's talk about the UFC Vegas 85 at the stinking no good Apex. We just gotta stop these cards. This is the first weekend of 11 straight, and you look forward and you see some incredible cards coming. This one really wasn't. This is kind of an appetizer that you walk into a restaurant and you think, yeah, I'll have an appy. I'm a little hungry. The meal might take a little while. I'm gonna get an appy. And you order it and it comes out and you're like, that's it? That's what I ordered? That's gonna try to tide me over? Oh man, that's what it's kind of resembled to me. It really wasn't a fantastic event. It didn't deliver very much and in the way of entertainment. I was quite disappointed. We will break down some of this stuff, but how about you? Were you feeling as lackluster as I was throughout this night?
Yeah, like as I was watching it, I'm just like, what a great fight night. This is just it's so engaging. So engaging. So it was hard. It was hard for me to keep engaged and take my notes where I'm just like, you know what I kept thinking? I'm like, when is this gonna be over?
Yeah.
That's actually that's how I felt. I hate it when I feel like that when I'm watching any UFC event, but that's how I felt for this one. Where I'm like, man, I can't wait till this is over.
Um, we'll talk about the main event in a second here, but I guess the stars of the show were Randy Brown. Rude Boy got 50K for a spectacular knockout victory. Your Jamaican countryman there,
Yep.
one
Yep.
of the stars of the show. Molly, and I don't know what her nickname's going to be anymore because she's not really a meatball.
Nope, not even close.
She looked cut. She looked the best shape I've ever seen her be in, and had an incredibly great performance, getting a victory, and got 50K for her troubles too as one of the performance of the night. And Charles Johnson and I got Maxim got the fight of the night, 50K each. Johnson was the underdog and ended up getting a massive win. and they got fight of the night. So those were the stars of the night. The main event really didn't deliver what we wanted. There was a lot of clinching, just a lot of guys that yeah, it just, I don't know if Delitse, after taking the beating in the first round,
Yeah.
just seemed to maybe neutralize him and didn't be able to give him the ability to show the best that he has. Imavov really got him, knocked him down, and almost took him out. I was happy Herb Dean did stop it, but I didn't see Delitse do too much after that.
Here's what I thought after watching the fight. Once the fight was done, I'm like, I wish Herb Dean would stop the fight.
Right. Yeah.
That's actually what I felt. Like I'm like, you know what? I'll give Herb Dean all the credit in the world because he knew how tough Delitse was.
Yeah.
A lot of other refs would have probably stopped that fight.
Yeah.
And if they had, I probably would have been happier. But that's besides the point. He didn't stop the fight. Delitse was still going, but the way that he fought, continuing after that first round beatdown that Imavov gave him, was the fight to stall.
Yeah.
The fight not to get hurt. Like, you know what I mean? Like he just grappled him along the fence, but he didn't chain it with any sort of try to do takedowns. Sometimes he got them, but Imavov was very good at popping back up anyways. Sometimes he was able to roll for like the kind of threaten with leg locks or toe hold locks or whatever. That didn't happen either. But that was very few and far between. Yeah. Most of the time, it was just him grappling and hugging him up against the cage.
Yeah, and then when they got released, yeah, it was too bad. That's what he did. It just seemed like he wasn't listening to his cornermen. They were yelling at him, swearing at him, saying, "Come on, what's going on? You need to do this. You need to do that." He'd go back out and do the exact same thing, and really didn't seem to change his game plan. Imavov outstruck him big time. Was able to, yeah, just dominate. I just definitely didn't see Delitse do much. 0 for 4 in his takedowns, and yeah, total strikes were big disparity. Imavov had almost 100 more strikes landed. Definitely significant strikes were 112 to 34. This was a one-sided beatdown. The thing that blew me away were the judges' scorecards. Like, what the heck was going on there? How can one judge have it 49-44, one have it 47-47, and the other have 48-46? Like, I just was like, what the hell is this? There's 3 guys over here. How can they see it so widely different? It was brutal. Delitse was shocked when they said the first one 49-44. And you're like, yeah, well, that was pretty wrong. But to be 47-47 and 48-46, it just seemed really crazy and stupid. I was shocked.
Didn't make any damn sense.
No.
Like it just didn't make any damn sense. Like I was just like, I know that a point was taken away, right? By from Imavov.
Off of Imavov, yeah.
Yeah, for down, but he was playing the game, right? They got to do something about that that rule. Yeah. They got to do something about that rule. Yeah. But anyways, so I understood that, but then when the scores came out, I'm like, I don't even know what they're doing. Like I don't know what this is anymore, right? So either way, the guy that won did win. Thank goodness they got that part.
That's the only saving grace is they got it right. The guy who won, won, and that was fair. But you gotta you gotta start doing an investigation on these judges and figure out how the hell they saw these scores and why. It just seemed totally wrong. And I thought Delitse ended up actually winning that 4th round where Imavov did get that point taken away, so it would have been a 10-8 for Delitse, I thought. To me, he didn't win. It could have been a 10-8 that first round, and probably should have been for Imavov, and then the other rounds were 10-9, I thought, for Imavov, but it was just, it seemed stupid. The judging numbers just didn't make sense, and I just, yeah, it just pissed me off, and I just wish they would get these right a lot more than they're doing it. And you're right, they have to do something about this downed opponent rule. It's not cool just a guy putting his hand down, looking around, saying, "Ah, ha, ha, you can't get me." They have supposedly got some proposals in, and they will be looking at changing the rules and trying to unify it so that you actually have to have a knee down or your torso
Mhm.
down or something a lot more significant than just your hand.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, because it has to change because it's nonsense.
Yeah.
Because like guys are trying to time it where you pick him up so he's off the ground so you can hit it's stupid. It's
Yeah.
just stupid. I'm sick of like the guys playing the game because it is in the rules or whatever. It's within the rule book, but it's got to change.
Yeah.
Got to change.
So Imavov now will take over the number 8 position in the division, and he called out Sean Strickland, and he also was really at Chris Curtis. You made mention of it earlier in the podcast, but they seem to have some serious bad blood against each other, and I think the UFC should book those guys against each other.
Yeah, I'd say so. That looked like that was the more interesting fight, anyways.
Yeah.
As he was fighting Delete, I'm like, I probably would rather see this fight that they're
Yeah.
about to have outside the ring, outside the octagon.
Yeah. In the end, there was 7 decisions, 7 canceled fights off this card, 4 TKOs, 1 submission, and 1 no contest, and we'll get to that in a second. Um, Dana White wasn't even there. I don't know if he was there the entire night. He went to the boxing down the street, and that really showed me that he didn't even care about it. Why should we care about it? He
Yep.
didn't even bother to stick around. Had no post-fight press conference or anything. Did you watch or see any of the highlights of Connor Ben versus Pete Dobson, the fight that he went to?
No, I
Um,
did not.
Ben ended up winning a unanimous 12-round decision. The judging was pretty good, in my opinion. 2 had it 118, 110. 1 had it 119, 109. I scored it 118, 110 for Ben. He moved to 23-0 in his career, gave Dobson his first loss, 16-1 now. And it looks like immediately the next day, Tank Davis and him have signed an agreement to fight Connor Ben and Tank Davis next. I was shocked at how quickly it sounds like this has come together, and it looks like Tank's got a new opponent. I wasn't super impressed with Ben. He outstruck him, had 100 more punches landed, 64 more jabs, and 36 more power shots. I wasn't totally impressed, but that I couldn't believe how fast that deal with him and Tank Davis was signed, and I guess we're seeing that in the late spring.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a rumor that Dana was not just there just to watch the fight for recreation or for pleasure, for entertainment, but he was also there for business with the promoter Eddie
Hearn, Eddie
Eddie
Hearn.
Hearn. Yeah, he was
Okay.
there for business as well. Now,
Okay.
what that business could have entailed, obviously, might have been some sort of boxing thing, but I'm not sure.
Mm.
But apparently, he was not just there for entertainment.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I didn't know that. So yeah. Okay. Well, let's dig into that a little more and see if we can find out why, and we'll uncover that next week on the podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
Tell me about the Drew Dober Renato Moicano fight. That was a great battle. Dober made a huge mistake in that 3rd round, trying to get the same takedown that he landed in the 2nd round. Was ended up falling out on his back. Moicano got top control and was able to rain down a lot of ground and pound and get the victory. Both super tough guys, and Moicano got the win.
Yeah, Moicano realized after the first round, standing with Dober is a dumb idea. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take him to the ground. Now, I don't know if you heard him after the fight, He had a lot to say after the fight.
Yeah.
But he asked Dober, how much do you weigh now coming in? Like, how much do you weigh the day? Dober said 180. You know what Moicano's response to that? F you.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think that was one of the reasons why Moicano was just like, oh, no, he's got more power, more oomph behind his punches and strikes. And if I stand up with this man, I'm just going to do the easier thing and I'm going to take him down
Yeah.
and I'm going to ride it out.
Smart.
And it was the smart move.
Yeah.
Dober caught him off guard with that lateral drop in the second round, and it was a beautiful move. But he went to the well one too many times, and also too, he didn't have the momentum on his side when he tried it in the third round. That's why he ended up just falling on his back. So, and that was a huge mistake on him because he did that. That's how he lost the fight.
Yeah.
Done.
Moicano, once he takes the mics, he's pretty hilarious. There's some, I've made mention of some cringe-worthy guys that I don't love when they take the mic. I didn't actually mind when Moicano took the mic. He's pretty hilarious. He said that his 62-year-old father just impregnated his girlfriend, and he said, so now I'm getting home and I'm impregnating mine to show I still got it better than my dad. That made me laugh a ton. He said his family's crazy. He's crazy. And he said, I'm trying to compete with my dad. Can't believe my dad's having another kid at 62.
Oh, it was awesome. Like when he started going off, I was just like, we need more guys like him. Just speak like just go crazy on the mic and just say whatever. Like he literally seemed like to me, he said whatever came to mind.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I probably could cuss here, but whatever, I'm gonna go for it. And just started just going off. Just saying a bunch of stuff.
I saw him talk today, and he said he kind of blacked out. He said, I was just saying whatever came to my mind. I don't even really know what the hell I said, but anything that was popping in my mind, I was spilling it out. I wasn't even thinking. It totally made me laugh. He did call out Beneil Dariush, which would be pretty awesome. And then he said he wants to join the SWAT team to kill all the bad guys. That made me laugh. There was talk today that he might be in line to fight the winner between Brendan Allen, Marvin Vittori, who fight April 6th in Vegas, which probably would be a great matchup, whoever came out of that one. Dariush has lost his last two and does need an opponent. Maybe Moicano's just the guy. Dariush got knocked out by both Charles Oliveira and Arman Sarukian in his last two battles. So also some talk about maybe Dan Hooker being an opponent for Moicano next.
All good opponents. Hooker actually sounds really good.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. I like that matchup the best out of all of them that you mentioned.
Yeah. Hooker's won his last two, and I think that would be a heck of a great battle. So okay, I mentioned Randy Rude Boy Brown off the top. This was a spectacular knockout, beautiful, sizzling KO that just was basically a walk-off. He used his length to his advantage and was able to really beat a tough guy in Muslim Salikov.
Oh yeah, like Salikov is a tricky opponent, but the funny thing is during that fight he voiced it to his corner, where his corner said, "Do you see it?" And Brown is like, "I do. I see it. I see the opportunity." Which was to land that right cross on his chin and put him to sleep. And he capitalized on it. He set it up beautifully, and it was game over. Like once he landed that shot, Salikov was not getting up after that.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. I often get mad and say I'm mad at the fighters for not listening to the corner, but you could hear the corner, and that's maybe one advantage of the Apex is you can hear your corner, and if you listen, you can find those openings and take advantage and get the win, and that's what Randy did. I like his personality. I like when he comes in. The one thing that I really enjoyed that he said was, what the hell is Michael Chiesa doing in the top 15? He's lost 3 in a row, shouldn't be 14. I've taken him out. I'm taking his ranking. I think that's what the UFC should do. Chiesa needs a victory big time. And yeah, I think has to prove himself to be in that top 15. 3 in a row, 4 in a row might fall him right out of the UFC altogether. But yeah, I'd watch that fight all day.
It was a great call out.
Yeah.
It was a great call out, and he knows that Chiesa is vulnerable. And I think if Brown fights Chiesa at this point in time, Chiesa doesn't win that fight.
No.
Period.
Brown 6-1 in his last 7 and looking strong, utilizing that reach advantage and doing great. I really did enjoy the Viviana Araujo, Natalie Silva fight. Silva, man, this girl has really, really, really impressed me lately. She's destined for greatness in the women's flyweight division. Super tough, so fast, lots of skills. 11 wins in a row, 6 in the UFC, and yeah, the sky's the limit. I think for her. This was a great performance over a very tough Viviana Araujo.
The speed of her strikes was something to behold.
Yeah.
Like she was so incredibly fast. The way that she slipped punches and stuff, and just her movement for side to side movement around the octagon. Yeah, I was impressed.
Yeah.
Once she settled down after the first round, because I thought there was a little bit of nervous energy there, but once she settled down and really started sitting down on her punches and her strikes and stuff, Araujo had a hard time trying to find her the entirety of that fight.
Yeah, her movement was just unreal, like just unreal. She just was never there for Araujo to hit. So that's gonna win you most of your fights when you never get hit. Was really sad and disappointed in the fight that happened before that. Mahmoud Muradov and Alexabab Himiev, eye poke immediately, 11 seconds in. Damn, that was brutal. I really hope they can figure this out one day. Maybe they need to wear goggles. Maybe they need to change their gloves somehow. Maybe they have to really penalize guys for putting their fingers out, but 11 seconds and right away, as soon as it happened, I said, "Oh, that's it. This fight's over." And after they gave him time, there was just no way his eye was opening, and they had to call it. I hope they make these. I hope they make this a rematch, and these guys get an opportunity to put all this training that they had against for each other, that they'll be able to just make it happen again. But man, that was just so disappointing.
I hope they redo this fight because I think this is a fight that needs to happen. And yes, extremely disappointing. I knew after you saw the replay, especially, yeah, this fight's over. Yeah. Like I was like, there's no way that this fight is going on. Fight's over. It sucked. It was because like this fight could have made the card that much better if it had continued, but it didn't. And hopefully we get to see this fight down the road, and hopefully Muradov's eye it's not a serious injury and he recovers completely.
Yeah, that's the worry. It definitely seemed like it could be quite serious. So yeah, let's hope he recovers quickly and 100%. The fight that kicked off the main card had Charles Chuck Buffalo Radke fighting Gilbert Urbina. Chuck Buffalo, pretty damn impressive. Gets the knockout late in that first round. He is super tough. That huge left hook that dropped Urbina and just was able to hammer him out. Yeah, he's got a 6th straight win. Made a lot of call outs and looks like a guy that's yeah, on a big time rise. Training partner with Bilal Muhammad, and a guy that yeah, I think has a good future in the welterweight division.
I think he's got a great future, great technical boxer. perfect form on his left hooks, like absolutely
Yeah.
tight, perfect left hook. Dropped Urbina one time, finished him off with pretty much with the second hook with a little bit of ground and pound for the finish. Radke has a bright future, very bright.
He called out Colby Covington, said he sucks, can't stand him. He called out Leon Edwards, why not, I guess. He said Australia sucks, which I'm not agreeing with. He likes being a bit of a heel and doesn't mind when the fans boo him. I've heard comments that Kevin Jousset is next for him. Kevin's got a couple of wins in the UFC. His last one was against Keenan Song in December. But yeah, you're right. Super crisp punches and that left hook is just deadly. If it connects on a guy's chin, he's going down for sure.
Yeah, once it detonates, and you're not getting up. You're done.
Preliminary card. The feature fight was the Molly McCann against the Canadian Diana Belbizza. This was actually a rematch. This happened. They fought originally October 18th, 2019. A bit of a mismatch rematch, which you never like, but interesting to see Molly after two straight losses at flyweight dropped down to strawweight and really looked cut and lean, still powerful, still fast, and pretty dominant. The last time we saw Belbizza, it was here in Vancouver, got a big win. Always had to see some Canadians lose, but Molly is tough and really proved that she was the better fighter on this night.
She looked absolutely fantastic. She looked great. Physically looked in incredible shape.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible shape. Yeah, I don't think meatball suits her anymore. Can't
No.
go with that.
Change the
Sorry,
nickname.
you look too good. You look too
Yeah.
good. And also too, it's unfortunate for Belbita, but she couldn't tap fast enough.
Yeah.
She couldn't tap fast enough. It looked like her elbow got dislocated, but it could have been a break as well. I hope it wasn't both,
Yeah.
because then really, really suck.
No,
Because that's
it'll be hard, long
of
recovering. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah, 1 second left in that round, and she tried to tap, but at 1 second and she's out of it. That's really terrible. Molly McCann, for people that don't know, she's actually cousins to Katie Taylor, one of the greatest female boxers in the world. Katie has 5 belts for the lightweight women's boxing and is 23-1 in her career. One of the greatest female fighters. So really good bloodlines with that family.
oh, it's great bloodlines for sure. Actually, I just learned about that. And I was just like, oh, wait, what? I had no idea.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense now, though, when you see how Molly fights and just how tenacious she is. Yeah, fighting's in the blood.
Yeah, sure is. Yeah. As I mentioned, fight of the night was Maxim against Charles Johnson. Great battle. Johnson didn't look great in the early part of that fight, but just kept coming and coming and coming and was able to get some takedowns, get some back control. Really looked great standing up later on in that fight. Won those last 2 rounds, I thought. And this was a fun fight to watch.
Absolutely fun fight to watch. I really appreciated Johnson's tenacity and resilience, because Maxim really took it to him in the first
First
round.
round, yeah.
I thought he won it handily, but the fact that Johnson didn't give up on himself and slowly fought his way back into this fight was super impressive to me.
Yeah.
Very impressed with that.
They kept flashing Jamal Hill cage side, super happy teammates of his, and Jamal has had a fantastic career as well. Great to see CJ do so well and take the O from Maxim. He's now no longer undefeated. He called out Joshua Van, wants to fight him on UFC 300. So See if they can pull that together. 300's coming fast. Really, the only other fight I want to mention is Tiembo Garimbo getting the really quick 32-second knockout of Pete Rodriguez, who stepped in for an injured who's the guy? Kiefer Crosby was supposed to fight him. Thank you very much for Pete stepping in, but did not last long. Garimbo just was able to land this kind of hammer fist type of shot to the side of his head and take him down and pound him out quick. This was a huge win, and Garimbo's story is super fun. Really pull for this guy, and great to see him get such a quick, easy victory.
I was super happy for him. It just proved that, well, The Rock doesn't give a house to just anybody,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That dude earned it, and he showed it through this quick stoppage of Rodriguez. And I think like what I heard pre-fight was that he likes to talk a lot of things into reality,
Yeah.
and I think he's mentally strong enough that he's going to continue to keep doing that. So all the power to him. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of his journey as he
Yeah, me
fights.
too. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of wild. I know The Rock sort of bonded with him quite a bit because they both had $7. They were down to their last $7. The Rock, I think that's what his production company is called. And he said he had $7.49 in his account as he was heading to that fight. He ended up getting his win bonus and 50K for one of the performance of the night, and it just changed his life right then and there. But he took that whole 50K and gave it to people that needed it in Africa, and so The Rock got wind of that, bought him a house, and yeah, he's a guy that I really appreciate, really love to root for, and great to see somebody that has had tough upbringing, tough life, being able to work really, really hard and yeah, change the fortunes of him and his family's life.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it, just to see that the fact that stay on that grind, keep believing in yourself, and then good things will come is absolutely true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Next week, we wanted to just mention it super fast. We've got Jack Hermanson, Joe Pyfer as the main event next week. Should be a great battle. Pyfer is sort of on this meteoric rise and a guy that the UFC seems to really want to promote. Hermanson has had exchanged wins and losses for the last 8 fights. So you just never know what you're going to see from him. He's a veteran, been around for quite a while. What do you see happening in this main event?
It's a stylistic fight. Jack is super durable, and he's going to be there.
Yeah.
And Pyfer has that power. He's got that knockout power. I think it could be extremely tactical from both sides. If I'm Jack Hermanson, I think taking this fight to the ground would be a smart idea.
Yeah.
Like I really, really do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think Joe Pyfer is going to be working on that takedown defense to keep it standing. And if he can keep it standing for the majority of this fight, that's not good news for Jack. Not good news.
Hermanson definitely needs to get it to the ground, and he's, as I said, he's alternated wins and losses in the last 8. He lost to Strickland, Vittori, and Cannonier, which are all super tough guys, but he beat Chris Curtis, Edmund Shabazian, Kelvin Gastelum, and Jacare Souza. So he's been in with killers those last 8 fights. He won't be afraid of this guy. We'll see Pyfer if he's as good as the UFC thinks he is. After that broken arm in the Dana White Contender Series, he's been able to come back, win his last 3, very convincing fashion. I love his nickname, Body Bags, but he's able to knock out Mearshart, Abdul Razak El Hassan, and yeah, just looking great recently. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Dan 50K Ige against Andre Touchy Feely. I like this main event. Both these guys always bring it. Should be a hell of a good battle. Yeah, a good matchup. I really like the co-main event.
I love the co-main event. I love the fact that they managed to pivot because I believe Ige was originally supposed to fight Leon Murphy,
Yeah.
and then Andre Feely stepped in. Great co-main event. It's going to be a great fight. Both guys, like you said, like to bring it. As it's going to be extremely entertaining.
Yeah.
Extremely entertaining.
Brad Tavares, Hawaiian veteran. He's been around since 2010 in the UFC. Has seen it all. Against RoboCop Gregory Rodriguez. Rodriguez is super powerful, knocks dudes out, but has some losses as well. Tavares has been in there, as I said. The Hawaiian 15-8 in the UFC. His first fight was 2010, June of 2010. So there's not that many guys that have been around that long in the UFC. It's pretty impressive.
No, very impressive. And again, another great matchup.
Yeah,
Matchmakers got this one right. This is going to be a good fight.
okay, that's it for the UFC. Can't wait for this coming weekend. It's going to be fun. Lots of great cards coming. As I mentioned, 11 weeks in a row. So lots to break down for us every week. Two baseball notes before we call it a night. Bobby Witt Jr. re-signed with the Kansas City Royals today. $288 million contract for the shortstop. Gets a $7 million signing bonus today as he signed the contract. There are opt-outs after the 7th year. There are opt-ins for the team that could push this contract to about $400 million for the lifetime of the deal. 11 years right now at 288. Could push it to 14 years and up to about 300, close to $400 million. So another massive young guy getting a huge deal in MLB.
It's funny, right? Like now when I hear these numbers, I'm like, seems a little light if you compare it to Otani's.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
like,
true.
I
Yeah.
mean, he's getting a little bit of money, so that's kind of cool. Good for him.
Right. And speaking of money, the Blue Jays are scheduled to go to arbitration with Vladimir Guerrero tomorrow. They want to avoid that at all costs. They usually avoid it on the deadline, hours before the deadline. We'll see. They said they want to pay 18 million. Vladdy wants 20. Not a massive gap there, but if no matter who wins, this will be the largest arbitration case in MLB history. It'll be the largest award ever handed out for a 1-year deal. He will be a free agent no matter what in 2025. So they want to try to lock him down. They usually try to avoid the arbitration so they don't have a guy in there disparaging him, saying how crappy he is. That's why they want to pay him this low amount and sour him with the team. I think we'll hear a deal tomorrow morning, and we'll go going forward next couple seasons with the Jays and Vladdy.
Yeah, because like you just said, they don't want sour grapes, right? Like they want to get this over with. And let's be honest, it's a difference of $2 million. Like that's nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing. In this day and age of baseball, that's less than nothing. So get the deal done. Don't piss the guy off. Yeah, let's move on.
Make it happen. Yeah. I have these two cards in front of me. I saw this incredible so Instagram and TikTok post this over the weekend, and it showed if you're a PGA Tour player, the sites of the tournaments that happen this year. If you travel to the bulk of the big tournaments this year, your traveling will be 63,230 kilometers around the globe. You can circumnavigate the globe. It's 40,000 kilometers. So it's 1.5 times around the globe to attend these tournaments. And it's insane. It's brutal. you're going. You start in Hawaii, you come here to the coast, and then it's just zip, 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 zip around the world. It's crazy. Live golf is the way to go. If you're a young golfer, join Live. Get your hundreds of millions. Don't have to travel much. Play way less. Collect more money. That's the way to go. I recommend it to every young golfer out there. Forget PGA Tour. Live is the way to go.
Kind of hard to go against them at this point in time. Play less rounds, less travel, more money.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do I sign?
Yeah, exactly. Here's my pen.
Yeah.
I'm signing right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me. We talked about the Saudis, and they are messing up some sports. They're messing up golf. They're messing up soccer. They're messing up these sports. We mentioned it with boxing, and they're just only doing great things for it. You know, these guys, that Usyk Fury fight never could come together until the Saudis came in and said, "What do you need? 60 each, 60 each? Sure, here we go. Boom, let's make it happen." And you know, it's weird how in some sports it's really causing such separation, and other sports like boxing, it's causing them to come together.
Well, yeah, because boxing's always just been about the money, anyways. And then for the Saudis, it's like, well, if it's just money, then that's easy.
Yeah, yeah,
For us.
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty wild.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Okay, man. Well, as always, this was a blast, and thanks so much. I'm glad you had the day off and you weren't burnt out and tired from a whole day of work. I guess you're off tomorrow. Enjoy your pizza,
Yes.
and yeah, keep in touch this week. Really looking forward to great UFC and a fantastic Super Bowl coming up.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to both of those too. Get some sleep, my friend.
Okay,
I think you might have a busier day tomorrow.
I
Okay.
will. Yeah, for sure. Okay, thanks, buddy.
All right. Talk to you later.
Yeah, sounds good. Bye for now. Okay. All right. We've reached the end. That ended up being a long podcast, but we had a blast. I hope you did as well. Yeah, that we covered a ton of topics this time. The UFC wasn't great. The All-Star game, the Pro Bowl weren't fantastic. Yeah, marking it on the calendar. Where is the calendar? Got to mark it on the calendar. Traveling. Yeah, I think heading to the Super Bowl or heading somewhere south next year is in the cards. So thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you so much to our partners and sponsors. I want to thank Anchor.fm, the easiest place to make a podcast. Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, an industry leader in technology, performance, and value. And the V350 stick is a must-have. I want to thank Pampas Possibilities, designers of West Coast Pretty Things. I can see the Pampas right there, and it looks fantastic here. Spruces up the house a lot. And you can check out our website for great deals for that, as well as Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. We have products on our website that you can buy at discounted rates. So thank you. As always, appreciate the support, appreciate the interactions. And yeah, if you know a great youth athlete out there, let us know. We'll go get a chance to go watch them perform and see if Complete Sports Media can help sponsor them. So love you lots. Take care of yourself and have a great week ahead. Bye for now.